So, Anna, come.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yes.
Great.
Scusa,
Sì?
devi fare attenzione perché se giri troppo quello dà fastidio.
Oh. This is not for the camera. Maybe this is the best.
Ma non girarlo di più perché là picchia negli occhi.
Okay. This is the maximum regulation for the light because if you turn this light,
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Yes, I'm ready.
You know what? I'm very happy, but more than happy, I feel very emotional because Min is again here with us. And I was telling to some friends of mine that the first time he came to FabrianoInAcquarello many years ago, he was just very young, and we considered him a very good painter, young boy. And now Min has become a master, and he has a family, and he has grown, improved his life. And it is an honor to have him here today to do something from, I see the subject from your country.
Yes, exactly.
And he has become also a very good organizer in art field or in curating the event, and I'm very happy.
Thank you.
I feel we had a support. We were a support for you. Is
Yes,
it true?
yes, thank you, Anna. This is true. Anna you inspired me a lot, especially in terms of sharing art and organizing. And like we all artists, we have passion, and what is important is to share this passion to others. So I will talk a little bit during the time I paint.
So,
It is okay?
and let's say from Vietnam and from Poland.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. I will talk a little bit, maybe not too much because I am not, like my English is not native. But I want to share some stories, like some background, why I start painting and how my painting developed over time. So I was born in Vietnam like 40 years ago. I'm 40 years old. And at age of 7, my parents decided to move to Poland. So obviously I moved with them. And I spent all my education in Poland. I studied architecture. I had a master's degree in architecture, which I got in Warsaw, in Poland. And 2 years ago, I decided to come back to Vietnam for some time. There are many reasons behind that, but I won't go too much into the detail. I went back to Vietnam. And before that, I started painting like 20 years ago. And I was always like a plein air painter. I like go outside and paint like from paint on location. And what is important in plein air painting is to catch the mood of the place. to feel, like to show how this place it look like, how the color, what is like, what colors are unique for this place. And when I go back to Vietnam, something changed. Before it was like how I want to paint, or why like how I want to paint, or so what is important for me before was that I want to show what is the truth of the place, the real color. And when I came back to Vietnam, something changed, and I start to ask the question, why I want to paint. It's not how, but why. And I want to show you maybe a few postcards from my paintings. Those are five paintings which I made right after I go back to Vietnam. So it was like 32 years in Poland, and I go back to Vietnam. And those are my first painting when I go back to Vietnam. And what is interesting is that after those few first paintings, artists from Vietnam, they told me that your colors of Vietnam or of Hanoi is not real. Hanoi doesn't look like that. Your color is too European, and so on and so on and so on. And I start to think that this is exactly what I want. I want to show that I live somewhere very far for more than 30 years. And when I get back to Vietnam, I want to show Vietnam from my memory, that the Vietnam which I feel it was before, and it's something it may be forgotten in after 20 or 30 years. So those 5 paintings are more like Vietnam, but from the past, which I want to find in the city when I get back, but I couldn't find. So I using my painting skill, and I add these feelings that I want to show the Vietnam how it looked before. But after some time, after 1.5 years living in Hanoi, I start to get used to the place. I start to feel the city. You know, Vietnam, Hanoi is very busy city. It's very high pollution, I think the highest in the world. And so when you compare like painting from my first year when I came back to Vietnam, those 3, and the paintings when I start to get used to the place, the paintings start to become like more Vietnamese and less European. So what is important for me, it was to catch this first year when I get back, because these feelings when you get back to the place where you was born, and this first feeling, it will never return. So I wanted to catch this first feeling and transfer it into the painting. So this is exactly the answer to the question why I am painting, why painting is important. Is to catch the moment, to catch the feeling which is inside you and transfer it into the paper. I may never paint the same, like with the same style, like those 5 paintings here, but those paintings like here, it may develop, it may over time become more like Vietnamese painting, Vietnamese landscape, Vietnam which is more real right now. So I will start painting this one. This is the Temple of Literature. Temple Literature is the first university in Vietnam. It was founded more than 1,000 years ago. So it's like a symbol of education, symbol of knowledge for Vietnamese people. Okay, so I will talk from time to time, but sometimes I will need to focus, so I will stay quiet. So what is interesting in this, exactly in this motif I am painting right now, is it is a temple of literature, but from the view of the tourists. So when the tourists come, like every tourist which visit Hanoi, they will come to the temple of literature. I believe that many of you, if you visit Hanoi, you have seen this place. So what I want to say is that what I mean by view by the tourists is that over time you will see that the painting, the color of this painting is not a typical color which Vietnamese artists would do, and also the setup of light is more European than Vietnamese. So what is important for me is also to not lose these European feelings, that this experience which I have for like after more than 30 years living in Poland, that my Vietnamese landscape will be different compared to artists which never left Vietnam. When I get back to Vietnam 2 years ago, I got invited to the Architecture University in Hanoi to teach students. And they asked me, do you want to teach painting? Do you want to teach drawing? But I say no. I want to teach design. I want to teach conservation. So right now I am teaching the subject, which is conservation of the old town of Hanoi. So in my painting, it's also very important for me to tell story about places, about culture, something which is worth to save, to protect. As you know, Vietnam in a couple of years, 10, 15 years, is developing very fast. And sometime in this process, people may get greedy and they may build, they may destroy too much. They may destroy of nature too much just to build more and faster. So I feel that Vietnam suffer from this fast development. So this is also one of the reasons why I paint those motifs. I paint those subjects, which are very relative to the history. I want to tell the story that some places, something like culture, places, history, are what to protect, are what to preserve. One of those places which you may hear about is Halong Bay. This is beautiful seascape with stones, thousands of stones coming from the water. And my mom actually was born in Halong Bay. And the Halong Bay, which I remember from my childhood, was like pure nature. That when you get into the boat, you swim out to the sea. There are just you and the nature around. There are no people, no sound, no buildings, just your stones and nature. But in last 15 years, maybe 20 years, Halong Bay becomes so popular that developers, they start to build a lot of buildings, a lot of hotels. And sometimes they just put earth and sand and they cover the sea just to make more lands for hotels and attraction, like tourist attraction. And I feel that something that Halong has before, like this magical feeling, it lost. It had, and right now I don't know. I don't feel the same when I come back to go back to Halong, because I feel that everything is fake. Everything is created. So I paint one series of Halong Bay, but without people, without houses on the water, without hotels. And I will tell you a nice story. And BBC, like the TV, BBC Vietnam, they come to me and they make an interview. And I talk about Vietnam, I talk about Hanoi, that my story behind painting is to preserve, like to talk about protecting nature, to preserve what is beautiful. Just for the next generation to have the chance to enjoy the nature, enjoy the Halong Bay like we had. So the place you see here, going back to the subject I'm painting right now, the Temple of Literature. And last year, we organized an exhibition, like a festival in this place. We had many artists coming. I believe some of you visit me as well last year. And if the temple of literature will agree, maybe we will do second edition next year. So at this point of the painting, some Vietnamese artists will tell me if they are watching my demo, they will tell me that your trees are too cold. You use color which are too cold. It's not the same like in Vietnam, because Vietnamese trees are more yellowish, more warm. Actually, they are in Vietnam right now. It's 35 degrees Celsius. So I decided to run away from this heat to Italy. And I still thinking about Vietnam. When I paint, I think about Vietnam. But I enjoy the climate, the temperature in Italy. And that's why this coldness of trees influence my painting. As you see, I use a lot of brushes. It doesn't mean that I need all of those brushes. I just enjoy switching them when I paint. Especially when I'm in Vietnam, when I'm painting in Vietnam, I'm painting Vietnamese landscape, and Vietnamese artists are watching. I will use European brushes. I will use Italian brushes. But right now here in Italy, I will use Asian brushes. Just to show you that it doesn't matter what kind of brushes you use. What is matter is that when you have some tools which are favorite for you, you need to get used to it. It's the same with the paper, the same with paint. So my style of painting, I learned painting watercolor in Poland, in Europe, and my style is like more, like some artists will say that it's like a Polish style or Slavic style, which teach you paint with the transparent watercolor, that you just paint with 2 layers. You don't use black, you don't use white, but as you can see, I am using white, I am using black, because I also got influence from Asian artists, especially from Chinese artists. So just to develop style which is like maybe more unique for me is like combining this Slavic way of painting with the Asian way of painting, if we can say that there is this way or other way. So, Chinese school, traditional way of painting, they teach to get many meaning in every strokes. So, just use big brushes and try to get with one strokes many values, many what I mean is that we try to get many things done with just single brush strokes. So that's why I switching brushes that often, because I want to pick the biggest brush for the task which I'm going to paint. For example, this is this big area, so it is possible to do with a smaller brush, with many strokes, but with this Asian calligraphy idea in mind, I just switched to the bigger brush, and I do it with the least brush strokes possible. I very like this snapping effect, like I'm trying to snap all the colors, like let it spread around. So that's why I wear white shirt right now, just to get a little bit of those dots on my shirt.